Welcome back to this week's AMT Fresh Produce Market Report, proudly brought to you by Villa Crop Protection. The potato and tomato markets started off on the back foot this week due to high volumes and high rainfall, while onion prices remained in its strong upward trend. But can better festive demand support prices over the next week? This week we take a deeper dive, all in this week's episode, so make sure to stay tuned. With world-class solutions like Masterlock, tailored for South African conditions, Villa helps you manage risk and increase productivity with research-backed confidence. Over the past week, potato prices dropped by about 10% to R49.94 per 10 kg. Tomato prices also dropped by about 18% the past week to R8.90 due to about 23% more volumes on the markets. Onion prices jumped by 15% to R43.91 per 10 kg. Carrots traded 2% higher at R4.02 per kilogram. Peppers decreased by 13% to R11.66. Cabbages decreased by 5% to R1.55. While sweet potatoes decreased by 7% to R5.06 per kilogram last week. Spinach prices increased sharply again, trading about 10% higher on R3.18 per kilogram, while butternuts decreased by 22% to R4.09 per kilogram, and pumpkins also dropped by 10% to R4.94 per kilogram. Garlic prices, however, decreased to R45.08 on average, with local garlic a little bit lower on R38.26 and imported garlic also slightly lower at R63.21. Green beans decreased to R8.79 and cucumbers stayed sideways on R9.06 per kilogram. As we move closer to the festive season, we're really hoping that an improvement in demand can help support market prices, which have been under significant pressure over the past few months. The ongoing rainfall in and around Gauteng has also weighed heavily on demand, keeping markets under further strain. Looking specifically at potatoes, the week started off with very high volumes on the markets, and demand is likely to struggle to absorb these supplies. Prices can therefore remain on a lower level for now. There is currently a long tail for Limpopo, with many producers looking to finish their season, while continued rainfall in KwaZulu-Natal is creating opportunities for producers to lift and deliver potatoes whenever conditions allow. As a result, large volumes were delivered over the weekend, leaving the market on the back foot at the start of this week. Looking ahead, we remain hopeful that prices could recover early next year as supply levels start to decline. We're seeing a similar picture in the tomato market. High volumes arriving at the start of this week are once again putting pressure on this price. This is further compounded by the public holiday on Tuesday, which reduces the number of effective trading days and is likely to keep prices under pressure for the time being. In contrast, onion prices gained strong momentum last week. We expect this upward trend to continue over the coming months, supported by tightening supply and improving market conditions. We had a very good week over in the fruit markets. Banana prices stayed in its upward trend, increasing by 4% to R13.51 per kilogram. Apples traded 3% higher on R12.28, while pears increased to R9.86. In the citrus market, oranges increased by 5% to R9.93, lemons increased to R9.37, naartjies however dropped by 14% to R9.69, while grapefruits also decreased to R8.84 per kilogram. Avocados increased to R30.96, but table grapes fell sharply again, trading about 15% lower week on week at R22.65. Pineapples also decreased to R11.68, blueberries jumped to R51.85, and watermelons traded 72% higher on R1.86 per kilogram last week. Table grape prices continue declining as expected and will likely reach their lowest levels in February next year, when volumes usually peak as well. Expect avo and orange prices, however, to remain elevated until February next year, as supplies can stay on a lower level until then. Banana prices also usually stays elevated over the festive period and early next year, as the pack houses shuts for the festive season and supplies are therefore limited. However, towards the middle parts of January, we might see more volumes again and prices that can drop as a result. So that's your AMT Weekly Fresh Produce Outlook, made possible by Villa Crop Protection. Remember to follow AMT on all social media platforms for daily market updates. And we'll see you next week for the latest market trends again.